Josh Berry has had a very solid 2024, with 2 top 5 finishes and 4 top 10 finishes. While he is seeking his first win in the Cup Series, he's been running pretty well this whole year. Unfortunately for Josh Berry, his first full-time year in the Cup Series is with Stewart-Haas Racing, and they will be going out of business after this year, as many of you probably already know. Gene Haas will be keeping one of his charters, but according to Josh Berry, he is not in the running to fill that spot. So it's safe to say that he's not going to be staying there. So with Josh Berry having a good year, where does he go from here? And has he done enough to secure a full-time ride next year? Well, Josh is turning 34 next year, but as of right now, he's aging really well. After a 2023 season where he filled in for both Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman for a total of 10 races, he didn't do terrible. 1 top 5 and 3 top 10s, nothing to sneeze at, especially for his first extended stint in the Cup Series, but it's still not enough to turn a lot of people's heads. So it's safe to say that this year has been an improvement. So pair that along with his great 2021 and 2022 seasons in the Xfinity Series and his dominance in late model racing, and that makes for a pretty good resume. Now, there is a rumor going around that Josh Berry could take over the 21 car after this season. To see how legitimate that is, we kind of have to look at who is running in the 21 car right now. That would be Harrison Burton. He is only 23 years old, but has had a very rocky year and a rocky career as a whole. An average finish of 26.7 on the year and 24.3 over his whole Cup Series career. Only 1 top 5 and 5 top 10s in 92 races. So it's very possible that Burton loses his ride after this year. And that might be the best situation for Berry. Cole Custer is most likely taking the lone ride with the new Haas team, and Chase Briscoe is going to take over the number 19 once Martin Truex Jr. retires. So that right there takes 2 drivers out of the free agent pool, and 2 guys that he would be competing with. Now the 2311 team is acquiring a charter from Stewart-Haas Racing once the year ends, and is opening up a number 67 team. But that ride is probably going to Corey Heim long term. Now, the number 2 car is hypothetically opening up with Austin Cindric's contract ending after this year, but with Cindric making the playoffs this year, it's unlikely that that spot's going to open up to another driver. He's probably just going to get extended. Trackhouse Racing is also acquiring a charter from Stewart-Haas Racing. Now, that ride could go to Shane Van Gisbergen, but it is fairly open. The most likely situation is Berry fills in the 34 or 36 with Front Row Motorsports. Richard Childress has talked about adding a 3rd team, but that probably won't happen. I think it's all but certain that Berry will have a full-time ride next year. If he wins a race this year, that basically locks him into at least one of those spots. Now, if he doesn't win a race, collecting some top 10s and top 5s would do a similar thing. Basically, as long as he doesn't fall off between now and the end of the season, Berry sets himself up in a great position to get a ride next year. With him and another teammate possibly going to Front Row next year, that's looking like the best fit for him. He gets some familiarity with a teammate joining him in a team that's fairly solid. But I still think the 21 car is a very fun possibility for him, especially if Josh could win a race or 2 there. The Wood brothers are just 1 win away from their 100th win in the Cup Series and haven't won a race since 2017 when Ryan Blaney was there. They deserve to see some success. Josh Berry would arguably be their best and most realistic option. Berry gives them an opportunity to compete week in and week out consistently. I think it would be really good for NASCAR to see a competitive 21 car. But that's just me. Now, if Josh somehow ends up without a ride next year, he probably just goes back to the Xfinity Series full-time. But I really doubt that happens. It is a possibility, but it's an unlikely one. If he does somehow go without a ride and goes to the Xfinity Series, I still think he finds a way back into the Cup Series. Guys get hurt, suspended, or can't race for various other reasons. You never know what's going to happen between now and February of next year. In any case, I think the rise of Josh Berry has been a fun one. I really hope to see him win just one Cup Series race, even if it's at the expense of my favorite driver. It's been a long and grueling career for him, and he's fought to get where he is now. Seeing the reaction from Josh Berry and his team might be one of the best moments of the year if it happens. And with the way that Josh Berry has been running, it's only a matter of time. He's been very consistent the past few races, he's built himself up really well this season, and again, it's been fun to watch. I really hope he succeeds, even if he only has a few more years left in him because he is kind of getting up there in age. It would still be fun to watch, especially if he can compete in the playoffs. He would be extremely hungry to win. He knows it's one of his last shots. I just think it would be a great storyline for NASCAR, and it would be something fun for us to watch. Now, it wouldn't be fun for the rest of the drivers who missed the playoffs. I'm sure some fans would be really upset. But still, as a Kyle Larson fan, and his spot is secure, I'm going to be rooting for Josh Berry to make the playoffs. I understand if you don't, if you're a fan of one of those drivers that's on the bubble, that's what I'm going to be looking for, because that's just kind of a fun thing to see happen. I hope he gets a ride next year. I really, really think he's going to. I don't think it's a situation where he's going to be struggling to find a contract and find a team to run with. I think guys are seeing what he's doing right now, and they see that not only is he a good driver, but he could also mentor younger drivers in the garage and kind of teach them the ropes, you know? So we'll just see what happens. This offseason is going to be a really interesting one for NASCAR, and Josh Berry, along with the rest of the Stewart-Haas racing guys, are going to be interesting to see what happens with them during the winter. But anyways, I'm Limitless Pulls. I'll see you guys next time.
Put it in the blender. Hell yeah, I'm Wingstop. Jump on the chicken tender. It's like the beef with energy and water like timber. Hey, turning, looking like dinner. It's like I got the bag, boy or girl.